We researched factors in circadian rhythm disruption in students and came up with a solution that helps students, teachers, and school administration remedy the disruption. This research was done by Sophia, Lizzie, Bailey, Johanna, and Andrew. Circadian rhythm, according to the CDC, is an eternally driven cycle during the 24-hour day. The circadian clock is located in the hypothalamus of the brain and is genetically programmed. The circadian clock sets the timing for many circadian rhythm functions such as sleep-wake cycles, hormonal activity, body temperature, and eating and digestion. Circadian disruption is a disturbance of biological timing ranging from molecular rhythms in individual cells to misalignment of behavioral cycles with environmental changes. Environmental misalignment occurs when an environmental signal such as the light-dark cycle is misaligned with the endogenous SCN phase. Sleep habits, particularly wake-up times, and controlled lighting are disruptors of the circadian rhythm. Controlled light-dark exposure can shift the circadian phase. These are some of the factors that disrupt the circadian rhythm. In our research, we will provide data and solutions to how age and blue light affect the circadian rhythm in students, teachers, and administrators.
A major difference between students and their teachers is age. One study showed that under the same living conditions, the older subjects, average age 71, went to bed on average an hour and a half before the young group, average age 22. They also woke up over an hour and a half earlier. This table shows the average bedtime and wake time for both groups. This table shows that the ECP, endogenous circadian phase temperature minimum, occurred a mean of 1 hour 52 minutes earlier in the older than in the young subjects under the same conditions, meaning that the older people were reaching their deepest part of their sleep almost 2 hours earlier than their younger counterparts. It is important to note that even though both groups had drastically different wake-sleep times, both groups slept for approximately the same amount of time, about 7.5 hours. This is important to note and be aware of when thinking about scheduling classes. Blue light is a color in the visible light spectrum that can be seen by human eyes. Blue light is a short wavelength, which means it produces higher amounts of energy. Unlike other forms of light, the eyes cannot effectively filter blue light, so more can pass through the eye to the retina. Blue light produces both benefits and concerns for our eyes and overall health. A small 2015 study found that when people are exposed to blue light in the evening hours, their bodies don't release as much melatonin and their sleep cycles are delayed and disrupted. People are often exposed to blue light through the sun, electronics, and other artificial lights.
Melatonin is a hormone that your brain produces in response to darkness. It helps with the timing of your circadian rhythms, 24-hour internal clock, and with sleep. Melatonin is produced in the pineal gland in your brain. The release of melatonin in the body helps regulate the circadian cycle. Melatonin is produced in response to darkness, so being exposed to light at night can block melatonin production. Melatonin provides feedback to the circadian oscillator. Blood levels of melatonin are high at night and low during the day. Melatonin acts as a darkness signal, providing feedback to the oscillator. Melatonin has the ability to entrain the sleep-wake rhythm. It is also a major role in regulating the body temperature rhythm. Melatonin treatment has been reported to be effective in treatment of disorders such as jet lag and delayed sleep phase syndrome. The graph shows melatonin concentration by the hour and condition. The dotted line shows dim light melatonin onset. The graph comes from a study where researchers examined the potential applications of an evening blue light depleted environment in a large-scale institution. The green line that has been added now shows melatonin onset levels measured under artificial light, which contains blue light. Melatonin levels in an artificial light condition were higher at all times compared to the baseline. A blue depleted environment uses light that does not contain blue light rays. A blue light depleted environment can be achieved by using special light bulbs, or can it be achieved by using special filters? This has been tested in a large-scale hospital with many patients. The graph now shows that melatonin concentration was significantly higher when participants resided in the blue depicted environment compared to the standard light environment. Furthermore, melatonin suppression was significantly lower in blue depicted environment compared to the standard light environment, 18 versus 45%. Living in a blue light depleted environment at night can help students advance circadian rhythms, allowing the students to fall asleep easier. Higher concentration of melatonin will advance circadian rhythms in students. Our group came up with solutions to help these problems. We recommended that administration should replace artificial lights with blue light depleted light bulbs in common areas with high student concentration. We also recommend that schools give their students blue light glasses and help them limit their exposure to blue light in the evening. This solution's main drawback is the expense. So if schools do not have sufficient funding, they may not be able to implement both light changes and glasses. Teachers should assign more offline homework, keeping students away from blue light emitting electronics. The less time spent looking at blue light, the less disruption to students' circadian cycle. Teachers could also be more aware of students' time at night and not assign too much homework. Moving classes back an hour could help students wake up at a time more in tune with their circadian rhythm. By recognizing that circadian pacemakers naturally advance with age, we can better accommodate for students by scheduling classes an hour later to help ensure that students and some of the younger teachers are fully rested and ready for the day ahead. Thank you.